All right, welcome. I haven't put anything on my channel for a while, so I thought a vlog would be nice because I normally do sort of little funny things when I have time, but I spend so much time doing video at the moment, sort of fighting around with Nerf guns. Doesn't get the time I would like to give it, though I will do in the future. It's the 28th of February 2018. The beast from the east is here. Holy shit, snowpocalypse, no! Yes, that means there's snow everywhere. It's really fucking cold. I'm still wearing a t-shirt though. And today I watched an 18-minute video where Kevin Smith talked about having a heart attack. Now, Kevin Smith is somebody that I really loved when I was younger. I've lost some respect for him over the years, but and I'm a bit disrespectful about him sometimes. But father of one, husband, friend to many. He seems like a nice guy. He nearly fucking died, and he had a whole story about his kind of hospitalisation and kind of process and how they saved his life. Which reminded me of an incident a few years ago, which is not nearly as bad as a heart attack, but I thought I'd regale you with the story of the time I had appendicitis. So, I'm 34 now, I think it would have been like 28, maybe like 6 years ago, around that area. I had a job where sometimes I wouldn't have to go into work till like 11 or 12. So I get up at like 10, and I'm rolling about the house and start ironing my shirt and stuff, and something feels wrong. I felt sick. I couldn't explain it. It was just sort of really low in the mix. I just kind of felt rough. But not rough enough to, not go to work. So I got on my bike, cycled across town. It was about a mile at the time for that job. Cycled across town, got to work. And I was sitting about and I just went to my colleague like, look, I feel real shit right now. Like, I feel rough. And she was like, well, what do you mean? And I was like, well, it's not flu, it's not anything else. I just feel ropey. So we got on at WebMD. And of course, whenever you put any symptom of any description into WebMD, it immediately tells you have cancer. So I was like, yeah, fine, cancer, of course, WebMD cancer. So I'm sitting about and then my boss comes in, we go through the same process again. He finds a different website, more cancer, right? So I'm going, okay, I probably don't have cancer. I'm going to call the GP. So I call up my doctor and I'm like, yeah, this is going on. And normally if you call them like middle of the afternoon, they'll be all like, well, you didn't call this morning, you need to make an appointment. But they go, okay, we're going to give you a phone consultation. So the guy's going to phone you later, Dr. blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, fine. So later on, he phones me. Work have already gone like, yeah, just go home because you live closer to the doctor than here and you're not much use or whatever. So I go home and I've spoken to this doctor and he talks through all my symptoms and he's just like, yeah, come in. And I was like, what? He goes, like, yeah, just come in. I was like, all right. So I go to my GP's practice, sit down and he just talks about it and I'm like, look, I feel really nauseous, I feel really weak, came on for no reason, I don't know what's going on. He just goes like this and put it there. I was like, oh fuck, like out, like I've been stabbed, just ouch. And he just kind of really calmly kind of goes like, yeah, just get an ambulance, go to Addenbrooke's. Addenbrooke's is the big hospital here. He goes, get a taxi, go to Addenbrooke's, go to accident and emergency and just tell him you've got appendicitis. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I mean, probably. They're going to take some piss and blood and whatnot. So like, you just go. I was like, oh, fuck, all right. So I didn't have any money, so I walked about another mile to go to a cash point and get some cash, go to A&E, sit there. And what followed was like a bunch of people just coming up to me and prodding me here and making me scream. And I was kind of like, I'm not really sure about the efficacy of this because you cunts have done it like 12 times already, but whatever. They take some piss, they take some blood, and they give me the whole skinny as like, look, you've probably got it, but in these situations we take it out anyway because there's no harm, it's quite routine. We're going to take that shit out of you, so you're going to have surgery, so you've got to stay here tonight. So fuck. So my girlfriend at the time, bless her, Vicky, she was freaking out because like I was been admitted to hospital and stuff, rightfully so. So I'm in the bed overnight. All these people are coming up and jabbing me and shit, and they're all saying, you've got appendicitis, it's got to come out. So I'm having surgery the next day, basically. This is all happening quick as fuck. So I stay overnight, and then I have to wait till like 6 p.m. the next day to have surgery. And my family's all rushing around and that, because you can die if they don't sort this shit out, right? Like it is serious. It's no heart attack or whatever, but And so basically I get told, this is kind of the crux of the story. This is what I thought was funny, which is why I'm doing this. I got told like if you don't drink anything for 6 hours, we won't have to catheterize you. Now, if you don't know what that means, that's when a very professional trained person shoves a pipe up your cock or lady parts or whatever you got, And they're like, if you nil by mouth it, we won't have to do that. And I was like, brill, all right, well, I'm not going to drink. You know, it's a practice not without its enthusiasts. You know, let's be honest. Some people are into it. You go into certain shops, they sell whole things for it, like anything related to the genitals. Humans have found a way to, you know, fetishize it. I am not among their number. I was quite happy living my 28 years without having anything inserted in my urethra. So I thought, I'm going to opt out of the whole cock pipe scenario. So, you know, I went nil by mouth for the day, no water or whatever. I was allowed to sip some water. And so I go through for surgery. And so I don't know if you've ever had like a electrocardiogram pad on you. But it basically, I'm quite a hairy dude, right? So I had tonsillitis before and I got admitted to hospital and they tried to do that and they can't stick it on. So they've got to like bick you, right, to get a bit of purchase. So I'm sort of I was quite aware that I was going to be shaved, basically. So I'm lying in the bed, I'm wearing that fucking... Firstly, they gave me one of those gowns that was like way too short. Like, I'm sure they had longer ones, but like the tip of my wang was like, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't stand up because they just gave me the worst one. So they're all going for all this anesthesiology and all that shit. And, you know, I'm playing it cool because I'm like, it's routine, don't worry about it. But there's a little voice in me going like, dude, you could die. You know, like you could die during this. And that little voice wouldn't shut up. But on the exterior, I was kind of like, well, it's routine, you know. And I was being strong kind of for my girlfriend because she was having a horrible time of it. And so they start giving me all the drugs and stuff. And like, when they finally gave me the sedative, the little voice just kind of went quiet. And I was kind of like, oh, this is fucking awesome. So I went to sleep. And they did like keyhole surgery. And if you look at that online, you can look at it on Google, on YouTube. It's really cool, like how they do it. It's nuts. Like, it's this amazing process. So I woke up high as shit, basically, like off my nut, and I wouldn't shut my eyes, I was blabbing away. I woke up probably about midnight. I was waking up the whole ward. I wouldn't stop talking about like Burger King and that. And when my mum and my girlfriend turned up, because my girlfriend, we lived together at the time, she'd gone and stayed with my mum for the night, you know, they turned up and I just wouldn't shut up about like getting a Burger King and shit. So I was on like anesthesia drugs and tramadol and liquid morphine, which tastes like Jägermeister, actually. I was off my fucking nut, so I didn't really know what was going on. When I stirred the next day, I found a lot of things happening that I wasn't ready for. Firstly, I had been shaved, but I felt like, you know, when your dog comes back from the vets and it's got that patch like out of it, it was like that, but sort of worse. I mean, I wasn't expecting some French dude to come out and go like, Pierre, I will be shaving you today, and it was going to be like bowed and dyed and shit. But like where my pubes are, they're sort of like, this is what, there's puzzlement here. They sort of did half a job. So evidently they had to get rid of some pube because they sort of go in on your belly button. But they left like that John Waters kind of 1940s spiv moustache above my knob. Like that, so that was still there. Big square off my leg looked like Tetris block. And then just like big fucking chunks, like, okay, I didn't expect finesse. I didn't want like a Nike swoosh or a Batman symbol, but a bit of something. But the worst part was when I went to pee. And you know, I had to be assisted. They had to pick me up and take me to the toilet, and I was like, no, I can hack it. And I went in the toilet and I was just like trying to stand. I was like, too lightheaded to stand, I'm too high. I sit down. And sometimes these days, because I'm like 34, if I've had a really like heavy night and I'm hungover, I'll sit down on the toilet just because my head's spinning and I'm just like, oh, I've got to fucking die. But this was because of lifesaving surgery. So I sit down and my cock was on fire. It was burning and I was just like, what the fuck? And I come out and I was like, I can't pee. And they were like, oh, that's probably because of the catheter. And I was like, pardon me, sorry, what? And they were like, oh yeah, they catheterized you. And I was like, but you said, and they were like, yeah, but you had urine in you, so we did it anyway and took it out. So I was like, oh. So, and yeah, so my cock was on fire. I couldn't pee. And then she did like, you know when they ultrasound for a baby and they're kind of like, oh, like you can see its heartbeat or whatever with that like jelly. She did that for piss to like look at my piss baby. And my piss baby was like, it was amazing actually. She sort of like did the ultrasound. She's looking at the screen. She's like, there's half a litre in there or whatever. She knew to the milliliter how much fucking urine was in me. And she goes like, if you don't pass that, we're going to have to catheterize you again. And I was just like, what? Fuck off. And immediately like forced out the hardest piss of my life. And then for the subsequent week or 2 weeks, because I was off work on full pay, it was virtually impossible to pee. It was awful. I mean, you know, on balance, they saved my life, and I'm extremely grateful for that. But this is basically the story of how I had a pipe shoved up my dick one time. Thanks for joining me for this first blog. I'm going to try and release some more soon. They won't be as scatological or surgical, but I hope we've all learned something today. Thank you.